Welcome to chapter 71 of Memoirs of a Big White Boy. Feeling like a big boy today because I got my big boy pants on. I'm doing big boy things. It's the morning right now and I'm doing the podcast. That's why I've got my big boy pants on. Look at that responsibility. I was like, oh man, I probably should have done the podcast yesterday, but didn't get time. So the least I could do is get up early and do the podcast for you all on a Tuesday. And the main reason I do that is because I'm back at work now at the radio station. So I'm kind of being forced into responsibility by having a job. But, I'm still got my big boy pants on. I could have just not done a podcast, but that would have been rude as to everyone. So I wasn't going to do that. If you guys hadn't heard, the radio show is back. Luke and Lewis. We're no longer Luke and Lewis for lunch. We have moved time slots. We are just Luke and Lewis now, and we're on between 6 till 8 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time. So depending on if Brisbane does or does not have daylight saving at the moment, or you're in Perth or whatever, I think you're 3 hours behind or 2 hours behind. Look, the rest of Australia, I don't know what time it is there, I'll be honest, okay? But if you live on the East Coast, we're on 6 till 8 p.m. Or just get the podcast if you guys listen to that. So, sorry, before I move on, Brisbane, why don't you do daylight savings? Like, for half of the year, you're on the same time zone as us. Well, it's the same time. And then the other half, we kind of switch back. The rest of the country goes, oh, well, we want more daylight, so we'll switch back an hour and cheat a bit. And you guys are like, nah, don't worry about it. We'll just sit in the dark for a bit. And that's what you guys do. How about you just catch up? I mean, Brisbane's known for being quite backwards in like a political sense, but I didn't realise you were literally backwards until I don't know when I found out. It wasn't even that long ago. I'm such an idiot. Like, someone was just like, oh, yeah, it's an hour behind in Brisbane. But I was like, what do you mean? They're the same time zone. And then someone's like, yeah, they don't do daylight savings. And I was just like, idiots. Like, dickheads. Honestly, I mean, I felt kind of stupid for not knowing that. But then I was like, nah, I was trying to give Brisbane the benefit of the doubt here, thinking that they were, didn't want to sit in the dark for 6 months, or the light, or whatever it is. And turns out you do. So Brisbane, quit that no daylight saving shit. It's awesome. Every 6 months, you gain an hour. And or you lose an hour every second time. But every second time you gain an hour and you feel like you're literally, the times go, the clock goes back and you just feel like you have an extra hour to do all this shit. It feels like you're going back in time, daylight savings. I mean, I think the rest of the world does it, don't they? I don't know. You can email me if you want. Who knows? I don't care. So, yeah, the radio show's back, which I'm super excited about. We got some big stuff planned with, the Savoys and stuff. We got sent some Savoys from Arnott's. No Jats, obviously. So, yeah, tune into the radio show to hear how that goes. And that's pretty much all I've got to say about that. I've been smashing videos lately, guys. Haven't I? I mean, if you guys have been, keeping up with my YouTubes or my social medias, oh boy, the content train has well and truly left the station, and it's chugging along at over one video a week. It's almost ridiculous. I need to slow down or I'm going to burn myself out. I think I've done 4 videos in 20 days, which is one video every 5 days. Good maths, Luke. Well done. That took way too long for me to work out. So, yeah. Why does my computer keep beeping? Shut up. I didn't tell it to make noise, so it doesn't... Dude, the robots are taking over, I swear. They just start going whenever they want. I didn't touch my computer then. I don't know if you guys heard that, but it just went... I didn't instruct you to... I'm still... No, stop now. Okay. So with videos and stuff, guys, I've kind of come back real strong. I've done 4 videos, I think, since January 10th. And it's only the 30th now, so... Is it the 30th or is it the 1st of Feb? I'm an idiot. Yeah, it's the 30th. So yeah, I think I'll slow down to one a week. I've kind of been doing like more than one a week at this stage. There's another Life of Luke coming this week. So the content's coming thick and fast, and but people doubted me. I was like at the start of the year, I'm like, yep, gonna be doing weekly videos now. And people were just like, bullshit. You've said that before. Yeah, I have. And I lied. But this time, I've told the truth for a month, and I'm proud of that. So, yeah, weekly videos. I'm excited about it. And also, my YouTube channel, since I've started doing consistent content for once, I've gone up 1,000 subscribers in like 20 days. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that if you just uploaded regularly and gave people good shit to watch, they would subscribe? I used to be like, why isn't anyone subscribing to my channel that I never upload on? This is bullshit. And now people are, so I'm glad about that, because I still am trying to hit that goal that I set a few weeks ago, 50k, you know, by the end of the year or whatever. What is happening? Someone just started up, I thought someone started up an engine in my street. It's just the garbage truck. Shut up, I'm trying to do a podcast, but I appreciate your service. I would never be a garbo. Like, I don't know how they do it. I honestly do not know how you wake up every day and you go like, today, I'm going to deal with people's shit. Like, literally, like, someone's probably put poo in their bin once. At least dog poo or something. Like, you almost have to, deal with the worst parts of people, which is their trash. And then you, like, collect it and you drive around with it for a bit and then you go dump it. Actually, maybe the guy who works at the dump, that's probably a worse job. Because at least the garbage truck guy gets to dump other people's trash onto the guy who works at the garbage dump. But the guy at the garbage dump, what does he do? Just watch rubbish decompose in the ground. He just buries it. Man, humans, we're horrible. Like, you can tell one time someone made plastic and then was like, oh, I don't need this anymore. Where should I put it? And then he put it on the ground and he was like, nah, I should get rid of it. And then he just dug a hole, buried it, and that's how our entire waste system works now when it's not recycled. It's just like, oh, we don't want to look at it, just put it beneath the earth. I'm sure that's good for the planet. We're dickheads. Humans are so stupid. I'm sure we could have worked out a better way now to deal with shit, but it's just cheaper to dig a fucking hole and put everything in it and being like, yeah, just fill it over with dirt. Anyway, why was I talking? Oh yeah, because the garbage truck drove past. Alright guys, I've proven already that I have literally the attention span of a child, and I see a garbage truck and I'm like, oh, let's talk about that for 3 minutes. Alright, so what did I actually want to talk about? Okay, so earlier in the week, I watched Transformers 5. Ladies and gentlemen, Transformers, I'll say that again, because some of you are probably just hearing about this film for the first time. There is a Transformers 5. It's called The Last Night. And me and Emily were like, oh, let's watch a movie. And then we're going through all the movies, and I was like, haha, I did not know there was a Transformers 5. And then I laughed for a bit, and then was like, we have to watch that. This will be proper garbage. Thinking it was going to be like one of those movies that's so shit that it's funny. And then it just ended up being one of those movies that's so shit that it's just so shit. Like, it wasn't that, like, it was funny in a way, but it's more just like, all it taught me was that we need to stop making movies after the third one. Like, I think that should be a rule. For pretty much any movie that's not already a book, stop at 3. It's a trilogy. Boom, you're done. 3 movies, pack your bags, get out. Well, it's only kind of shit. Okay? By the third one. Get out. There's so many good trilogies. But then as soon as they make movie 4, 5, 6, and they just, I don't know what happens, but apparently you cannot write a good 4th film. Star Wars. Stop. Stop making Star Wars movies. I said it, okay? The fourth one in that. The one after the original trilogy. 3 incredible films. Then what did they go do? George Lucas was like, oh yeah? I'll wait 20 minutes. Guys, here's the Phantom Menace. And then it's like an hour and a half of fucking Jar Jar Binks. Mr. Jar Jar... Shut up. Stop. Because that's what happens. Once you've made a good trilogy, you're like, how are we going to keep this legacy alive? I know. We'll make a character that speaks broken English and has ears going down to its asshole. Okay? No. Stop. Okay? Another one. Indiana Jones. 3 great films. You've got Raiders of the Lost Ark, Temple of Doom, and whatever the third one was, The Last Crusade with his dad. It was less good, but it still held up. And then what did they go do? Oi, guys, let's wait 2 decades till Harrison Ford's old as fuck, and then let's make another one. Oh, that sounds sick. Oi, should we write a good plot? No, don't worry about it. Doesn't need it. We'll just pay him $30 million to wear a fedora and crack a whip for an hour and a half. Do you remember, I don't know if you guys have seen Indiana Jones 4. What was it called? The Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Man, that film where he hops in a fridge. He hops in like a kitchen fridge and survives a nuclear blast. He's in like a nuke town. The nuke goes off and he's like, oh no, where should I hide? And he looks like under the table. He's like, nah, that's not a good spot. And then he sees the fridge, hops inside. The fridge gets blasted. And then like after the bomb gets let off, he just like falls out of the fridge and was like, oh, thank God for that nuke-proof fridge that still hasn't been invented yet, but is somehow invented for the purposes of the film. Why do they make that shit? Just stop. Okay? It's enough. Like the third Indiana Jones, no one wanted a fourth one. I don't think any fans of that franchise were like, it's been 20 years, could go another Indiana Jones. No, they weren't. It's just, I don't know, they just do anything for money and they ruin the legacy of so many great films. I could keep going, okay? Pirates of the Caribbean. First 3, decent movies. 4 and 5, what are you doing, Johnny Depp? Stop. Shrek. Shrek 1, classic. Shrek 2, less of a classic. Shrek 3, even less of a classic, but it's kind of still held up. And then what did they go to? Let's put Rumpelstiltskin as a film and call it Shrek Forever After. Get it? Because it has the word for in it? Stop. The Karate Kid. Let's replace Ralph Macchio with Jaden Smith. Just stop. Just don't write a new film. Write an original film instead of putting money into that shit. You know what I mean? Like, they'll never get a new great franchise if they just keep rebooting old ones. Write something new. I don't want to see Jaden Smith get bullied and then by the end of the film learn how to fight and then, oh, he's good now. I already watched the first one. I don't need to say that shit again. Okay? So Transformers was the other perfect example. And I went and saw Transformers 4 in the cinema. That's how wide I am. I saw the 4th one. And I didn't even realize there was a 5th. I was like, I gotta watch this shit. It was garbage. I mean, look, I'm gonna spoil it. So if you guys were planning on watching Transformers 5, just skip a few minutes in the podcast, okay? But no one's doing that because no one even knew it fucking existed. Optimus Prime is just bad now. He just turns bad for a bit. Because it's like, why not? Let's make the most beloved Transformers character. Okay, Bumblebee's the most beloved. But like, let's make the best Autobot turn evil. And then, like, Mark Wahlberg. Like, Shia LaBeouf's not in it. It's just Mark Wahlberg. Like, who was in the 4th for some reason. And then, really, like, it's the same plot as... I don't know if you guys remember it, but, like, in the 3rd Transformers film... Sorry if this is boring if you don't like Transformers, but I just want to rant for a bit. In the 3rd Transformers film, I'm pretty sure it was, their planet, the robot planet, like, Cybertron, is coming into Earth. And that's the same plot again. It's the 5th. That's all that happens. It's just it's exactly the same film, but instead there's another hot chick and it's Mark Wahlberg instead of another hot chick and Shia LaBeouf. That's it. And like, Megatron's still in it, and it's just the same film. And Josh Jamal's in it, Fergie's ex-husband or whatever, who I found out the other night that they were ex-husband. Like, it's just, they remade the same film, and then you're supposed to be like, well, it's called, it's got a different name, so it's different. It's the same shit. I'm not an idiot. Like, how stupid do you think I am? I am stupid, and not even I fell for that. Okay? Like, I'm just so worried that they're gonna start putting out 4th and 5th movies of trilogies that I love. Like Toy Story. Like, Toy Story 4, starring Shia LaBeouf and Mark Wahlberg. Because what? Shia was in, like, the Indiana Jones one. It didn't help that franchise. Okay? It's gonna be like Toy Story 4, starring Adam Sandler and David Spade. Rob Schneider as Rob Schneider starts playing Woody, and then kids will just be like, "Yeah, it's colourful. I don't mind it," and everyone else will be like, "Hey, Pixar, stop." Dude. If they made another Back to the Future, I will crack the shits. Okay, it would just be the worst. He'd be like, I don't know. It'd be like Doc Brown. I don't even know if he's still alive, but it'd just be like Michael J. Fox, like shaking his way around, like. Like, the whole film would have to be set like an earthquake's happening to hide the shakes. And then it'd just be a disaster. And they'd go back in time again. They'd be like, oh, this time we're with the Romans. It's not set in the Wild West. Just don't do it, because you know that's what it's going to be. Alright? But I think the only film series to have ever gotten better with age, like as in got better as it went along, was there's 2. Oh no, Harry Potter stayed the same consistency, they're all just really good films. But that's because they're good stories, because of the books. Like, J.K. Rowling wrote a great universe, and it was a great story, great characters. But like, the only series that I think has gotten actually better is the Fast and the Furious movies. Like, have you guys seen the first one? It sucks. Like, it's so shit. It's just a movie about, like, street racing. About, like, kind of low-level street racing between, like, this one guy, Dominic Toretto, and this other dude. And then, like, as it goes along, like, after the 4th one, it turns into, like... Dude, the 5th movie with The Rock, it's like a heist film. They, like, rob a... It's awesome. And then the 6th one, that, like, by the end, they're, like, saving the world. It's the shit. In the last Fast and Furious movie I saw, they were like driving on a moving submarine. That's so much better than like a street race in like downtown LA. That's awesome. So yeah, like Fast and Furious, the only ones that actually age better. Every other movie franchise, American Pie, whatever, just stop after 3. That's the new rule, okay? Can we start doing that, please? I don't know why I'm talking about it. Like, me talking about it on this podcast right now is gonna, like, really change Hollywood's perspective. Like, have you guys heard the latest episode of Memoirs of a White Guy? Yeah, it's like this underground Australian podcast that this guy just yells about shit that makes him mad during the week. Yeah, anyway, he said that we should just stop, guys. And some big Hollywood executive at Warner Brothers like, but we could make $40 million off this film. He's like, yeah, but trust me, this kid in Australia just doesn't like it. Well, what are we gonna do? Our hands are tied. Guys, cancel Karate Kid 5. I'm an idiot. Like, I talk about this stuff like people give a shit. Okay, guys, so the next thing I'm a little list of things. Can you guys agree with me here? Can you guys agree with me that there is nothing funnier than someone trying to fit something enormous into their car? Like, someone trying to fit enormous shit into, like, a Mini Cooper. Like, I saw a dude trying to fit a cupboard into a 4-door sedan. I don't even know how he got it out of his house. Like, mate, that closet is not is not fitting in your Corolla. What are you doing? Like, I'm honestly impressed that he got it out of the door, and that obviously they've walked it through the front garden, they've lifted it over their little front gate, and I kind of drove past as 4 guys were trying to fit a closet that had, like, it was just huge. The closet was bigger than me, like taller than me, and about 2 meters wide. And I was just like, did no one ever teach you spatial awareness? Like, these dudes would be the worst at Tetris. I'm like, if you can't work out right now that 2 meter wide closet is not fitting in your tiny Corolla, then you're way more delusional than I thought. At first, they were trying to shove it in the door, and then I kind of came back from the shops like 5 minutes later, and they were still going at it. And then they were round to the boot, and they were trying to put it in the boot. And then I think they were trying to do the technique where the boot stays open and they strap down like the boot to the tow bar, and then they drive for a bit and just put like a little red cloth at the back going like hazard, just warning other cars. It's like, mate, it wasn't even going to fit sticking out of your car. The closet was bigger than your car. Like, that's like me getting 2 liters of milk and then getting 1 glass and trying to like go, why doesn't it all fit? Because it's bigger than the glass. It was the stupidest shit I've seen all week. I just wanted to like pull over and just be like, tell them to be like, hey guys, it's not gonna fit. And they'd be like, nah, mate, we'll just, we'll get a few bloody cable ties. You can just tell they were those guys they were so adamant on making it fit. And I was like, dude, just get a mate with a ute, or call a furniture removal company. Stop being so, that's the thing that gets me, because when people are desperate to try to get like some huge thing to fit in their car, then it just, you know that they're just desperate to get it to fit because they don't want to pay someone else to do it. It's like a cheapskate move of like, nah, it's gonna fit, mate. Just, we'll open all the doors and, we'll cut off half the car and we'll just kind of head down the road on 2 wheels with a big fucking closet hanging out the back. I reckon that sounds sweet. And the guy who was doing it, like, no offense, he was a big boy. Like, he was as big as the closet. Kind of, I think he ate the closet. And I was like, mate, I don't even know how you fit in your Corolla, let alone this closet. And like, I don't know how you, that's what got me. I was like, okay, even by the off chance that your car is like Mary Poppins' handbag, or like one of those tents in Harry Potter, and it's way bigger on the inside than it is on the outside, and you manage to get it in, how are you gonna fit as well as your enormous closet? It was like watching a dude who just didn't know, like, it was weird. He didn't know that he was wrong yet, and he didn't know that he was about to fail. And someone needed to tell him. There needed to be like a voice of reason in that guy's life to be like, hey mate, maybe we'll just get Damo to come over with the ute. And you can tell he was like, no, it's gonna fit. Shut up. You know, he'd been planning it for a week as well. Just like telling all his mates at a barbecue about how he's gonna get the closet to his new house. He's like, the misso wants my new closet. I'm cheap as fuck, so I'm not gonna pay someone to do it. But I got the old Corolla sitting out the back still, so I reckon that'll do the job. Like, I know for a fact that if I had have driven past these dudes on the side of the road trying to get this closet in like 10 minutes later, like after I saw them attacking the boot, they were 100% about to strap the closet to the roof. Like, it didn't have roof racks, by the way, because it's a Toyota Corolla. It's a small car, right? It's like... And I just know they were just gonna work out a way to strap that shit to the roof. Like, the car didn't have a tow bar. They couldn't even attach a trailer. But I knew these guys were not going to take no for an answer. It was the best thing I saw all week. I mean, it went from the worst thing. The night before, I watched Transformers 5. And then I was like, oh my god, this week sucks. And then the next morning, the universe just goes, hey, Sorry I made you watch that. Here's 3 guys trying to fit a closet into a Corolla. You're fucking welcome. And thank you, universe, because I loved it. I loved every second of it. I drove even slower on the way back. It was in a 40 zone, like near a school. It was in a 40 kilometer zone, and I drove past about 10 kilometers an hour just watching these guys. Couldn't get enough of it. So, another thing I wanted to bring up, guys, just while I'm on a bloody roll here, it's been brought to my attention that perhaps my advice of stealing tomato sauce in protest of these recent surcharges for tomato sauce with pies, as I've been discussing on the podcast, perhaps me encouraging people to steal sauce wasn't the best plan. I've had a few stories during the week of people thieving things, and look, I'm all for fucking a small business in the arse, especially one who charges for sauce, but I'm not too keen on encouraging criminal activity. And the reason why I've kind of bring this up is it was actually pointed out by another listener, or a listener of this podcast, that perhaps I could change my tune a bit and try a different tactic, because he went and did that on his own, and I was really impressed. It was Sauce Bandit, non-Sauce Bandit, Max Phillips. Thank you very much. And from now on, this new technique will be hereby known as the Max Phillips Initiative, ladies and gentlemen, because what he did during the week was quite an empowering way of dealing with these horrible sauce crimes. Young Max sent in, "Hey Luke, love your stuff, and I'm standing right here with you against the sauce charging companies. Nobody should have to pay sauce on their pie." You know what? And he's already spot on. "But along with taking back what's ours, we must reward those who give to the cause. A local bakery of mine does not charge for sauce. That's right, hallelujah. Upon discovering the fight against the government from a small bakery, I rewarded them by purchasing some chips that I could eat with the free sauce I deserve alongside my pie and coffee." And this is the really important bit, guys. He says, "We don't win by punishing those we hate, but rewarding those we love." Guys, he's fighting this sauce hate, this sauce crime that we're experiencing, this anarchy in the ketchup industry, with love. And I don't know why that didn't come to my attention last week, guys. Of course, that's the best way to fight it. I mean, I went in with the obvious. I was just mad. I was frustrated. I had to pay 50 cents for sauce. And I reacted irrationally with hate. And I went, go steal sauce. You know, like boycott sauce. You know, if they boycott bakeries that charge for sauce. Instead, I should have gone, hey guys, let's reward those small businesses, large businesses, whatever they are, big corporations, for doing their bit for Australian culture and not charging for sauce. Let's continue, I would say, peacefully boycott those who are still charging for sauce. Don't go pay for sauce. Don't do it to yourselves. But instead of going and hating on them, don't waste your time doing that, guys. Do a Max Phillips. Go give some love to a young bakery, a local bakery, going, hey, mate, need some sauce? And then you're going, yes, obviously nervously. And then they go, no worries, champ, just over on the counter there. Help yourself. You've got to reward that behaviour. There's nothing better than a free sauce bakeries. We should actually start like a map in Melbourne. Like, we should, guys, start sending in places. Like, send me the address of the place that gets free sauce, right? And we should actually start kind of like, maybe I could put it on my website, perhaps. Like some kind of map where we map out all the places in Melbourne, or even around Australia. Let's do Australia. Let's map out all the places in Australia that are not charging for sauce. We'll make one big map, and then you guys, all you got to do then is just go give some love to these businesses for continuing the Australian way of life and not charging for sauce. So let's do that, guys. I can't do this on my own because, you know, obviously if I discover a bakery that doesn't have sauce, then perhaps, yes, I could do that, and I'll add it to the list. But I'll start compiling a list. If you guys send them in and go, hey, this place, free sauce, boom, send one in. It's part of the Max Phillips initiative. Let's get this sauce positivity going, and I reckon we can end the negativity this week, guys. No more theft. No more, still boycotting, but peacefully boycotting. And no more hate upon these. You know what? I don't even want to give these businesses who are charging for sauce still, I don't want to give them the time of day. I don't want to give them the satisfaction of hate, because it's still attention towards their business and they don't deserve it. So that's the new initiative, guys. Thank you very much, Max Phillips, for that piece of correspondence. I honestly, his perspective on sauce changed my week. Just that last sentence. We don't win by punishing those we hate. We win by rewarding those we love. Max Phillips, you're a genius, okay? So, yeah, if you guys just, as soon as you discover a business not charging for sauce, all you got to do, send me the name of the business, and address will be helpful. Let's start getting a map going, and, guys, we could change the world here. We could revolutionize the sauce game. Because you know what? Other businesses who are charging for sauce, they'll want to be on our map, for sure. Because they'll get extra business, and they'll want to be a part of this new sauce positivity movement. And you know who's not going to be on this map, guys? Adelaide Airport, for starters. So, I might contact them, maybe going, hey, we're starting this new thing. If you want to be a part of it, now's your last chance to change. Otherwise, God help you, you dirty sauce bandits. Now I'm going to do some questions. It might be a bit of a shorter podcast this week, as I did leave the podcast a little bit late. So, wait, before we get into questions, the plan is now for the podcast that obviously we're on from about we're on from 6 to 8 now on the radio, so I'll be doing the podcast in the mornings, Monday morning, hopefully. I just ran out of time yesterday, because now pretty much I used to have to leave the house at like 8, get up at 7, we'd go on the radio at 12, and then I'd have a gig that night, and my whole day would just be done, which is why the content kind of slowed down a bit. I didn't have as much time to do all the online stuff, but now we get into the radio station about 3 to 2:30, 3 o'clock, to start planning for the radio show. Which means I got to leave the house. I mean, I live in Diamond City, so I still got to leave the house 5 hours before if I want to walk. But if I'm driving, still got to allow an hour for that. So it means I've got all morning till about, lunchtime, till about 1:30 to get all this online stuff done. So, yeah, the podcast will be, it doesn't really change for you guys, but I'll be doing it in the morning now, and it means I can have time for videos now, which is why the weekly content will still be up. And I'll pretty much have a lot more time to, continue all the regular stuff that I was doing before the radio show, which is exciting. And also, the time slot's better for you guys to listen to as well, because people usually couldn't listen because they were either at school, uni, or working. So now that we're on at night, it'd be awesome if you guys tuned in live, because we do like caller segments where we like get you guys to call in, or whoever's listening to call in. And usually it was a struggle to actually get callers during the day, because, who's listening digital radio from 12 till 2? So it'd be awesome if you guys tuned in from 6 till 8 when you get a chance, and gave the show a call with whatever we're talking about. We love getting people involved in it. Alright, so the questions, I think we'll just do 1 or 2 questions this week. I don't think there's too many anyway. So if you guys want to send in any life advice, shoot it through luke.kidgell@gmail.com. This one is from Alec. He said, "Hey Luke, I watched your stuff for ages now, but only just came across your podcast recently. I'm writing this email at 3 a.m, so excuse any spelling. I've just listened to episode 68 and realized that I've had gout since about July last year. Oh, that sucks, man. It's also on my big toe. I started realizing that it was bruised when I went on a 10-day ski trip with school. Dude, you probably like have like what's that frozen thing when your big toe, like hypothermia? Are you sure you didn't lose your big toe in the snow? Big toe freezing. Wouldn't it be called isn't that just hypothermia? I reckon you've just got cold feet in the snow, mate. He said, the ski trip was in the snowy mountains, and as I live in East Melbourne, it took about a 10-hour bus ride from 6 a.m. till 5 p.m. This is where my challenge for the craziest coincidence up against the tennis... oh, right. Okay, so I'm so confused. You're right, he definitely wrote this at 3 a.m. Okay, so now he's moved on from the ski trip and is now trying to beat my coincidence of the tennis ball story. Okay, so he's trying to beat my coincidence of the tennis ball story. If you didn't listen to that, go listen to like episode 68, or the first episode of the radio show. I retold the story in the radio show last night because I hadn't told Lewis yet. I was sitting on the bus next to one of my mates and we were allowed to bring our iPods on the trip. Who still has an iPod? Actually me, but I've lost mine at the moment. We were both listening to our playlists on Spotify, very antisocial boys, when we unknowingly both hit the shuffle button at the exact same time. A few seconds had passed and we both started singing Kendrick's Humble at the exact same time. We both thought each other were just listening into each other's song, but then we elaborated and we looked at each other's iPods and freaked out. You may be thinking it isn't that much of a coincidence considering Humble was really popular at that time, but both of our playlists had about 150 songs in it each. I know it's hard to top the tennis ball story, but I think it gives it a red hot crack. I do agree that is... Okay, here's the thing. That is absolutely a bang-on coincidence if Spotify's shuffle works as like it just picks randomly one of the 150 songs that you both had in your playlist. But I'm pretty sure Spotify works on an algorithm, which is it would definitely favour some songs over others. Look, like Kendrick Lamar's Humble, like that came first in Triple J's Hottest 100. Like it was the number one most popular song of the year. I reckon Spotify is putting that to the top of your playlist as opposed to other ones. But I don't want to take it away from you. It's a good coincidence. But all I'm saying is, a tennis ball landed in my mate's hand, and it was a sign from the universe, okay? So, I don't think you're going to... look, thank you for good contribution, but I don't know, man. You know what? It's almost as good. And also, the second part of Alex's email is, whilst listening to the Factoric, I also reminisce to a book that I forced my parents into buying at a book week carnival thing at primary school about 6 years ago. The book is called Every Minute in Australia, and it produced some of the most boring fun facts I've ever seen in my entire lifetime. Each fun fact is about half a page long in Comic Sans, and is some really boring shit. I know... Oh wait, it's some really believable shit. I know this is a long as email, and most of it might not make the cut, but just wanted to say... love your shit that you do, and you inspire me to want to get into comedy. Alex. Thanks, man. Thank you very much for listening, and you should do it, man. You should get into comedy. If it's... It depends. If you don't want to make that much money, and you want to be a disappointment to your family, definitely get into comedy. But if you want to be successful, then perhaps go to university. I'll read one more. This is... Oh, sorry, I was supposed to answer this one ages ago. This is from Corey. It's been in for a few weeks, so he may not even need my advice anymore. But I'll answer one more. So this is from Corey. G'day, Luke. When I say answer one more, Alec didn't even ask a question. This is the only question I had. G'day, Luke. I'm emailing in for some advice in regards with dealing with a little problem with a couple of my friends that my dopey ass doesn't know how to deal with. Since the start of last year, following some drama I went through, I've been hanging out with my mate and his fiancée a lot. Recently, the amount of time I've been spending with them has increased after we went on a camping trip where we'd hang out, I'd say, twice a week for the week following New Year's. I had seen them for 4 out of the 7 days that week. Here's the problem that arose. I'm a lone wolf kind of dude. As such, your boy gets drained when he's constantly in social situations and needs time to himself to recharge. Mate, that's everyone. We all like a bit of alone time. There's nothing to be ashamed of there. Otherwise, I get tired and very irritable. Ideally, I'd go out once a fortnight or so. Yeah, that's nothing wrong with that. As you probably guessed, I'm not sure how to go about telling them without them thinking I'm sick and tired of being around them. They're good people and they've stuck by me countless times, but I don't think they quite understand that I prefer solitude over constant contact with others. My mate even offered me a job where I'd be working with him that I had to decline for that same reason, because you didn't want to hang out with him. Good mate you are. I feel guilty whenever I had to decline plans or ignore phone calls from them, because again, they are awesome people. Is it just my big-headed ass needs more time to itself and it doesn't want constant contact, or am I just a shit friend? Anyway, would love to hear your response and thank you in advance if you decide to help. I don't think you're a shit friend at all, Corey. There's nothing wrong with not wanting to hang out with your friends. No, there's nothing wrong with not wanting to hang out with people all the time. You've got to get stuff done, or otherwise you just... Also, it sounds like you were third-wheeling if it's your mate and his fiancé. I wouldn't want to be third-wheeling in that situation either. That sounds so bad, like a camping trip with a couple. Why did they even invite you? Why would they want you to be there? Like, me and Emily wouldn't invite, like, one of my mates. Like, hey, man, you want to come camping with just us? And my mate would be like, no. I don't want to hang out with just you two. But, I don't know, I guess if you went with a lot of friends, it's cool. I would say my advice would be, dude, just tell him. Like, literally what you told me. Just be like, hey, man, or, you know what, if you don't want to tell him, I guess you don't really want to be like, hey, I need some space, fair enough. Just make up that you're busy all the time. Just go, oh, I'm hanging out with other people. I've got to go to work, doing other stuff. I've got to go hang out with family. Just anything. Just make up stuff. Guys and Corey, if I could give you all any advice, it would be lie to your friends. That's how you make more friends, alright? You lie, dude, make up cool lies. Just be like, oh man, go and ice fishing. No, spear fishing. Ice fishing's not cool. I'm going spear fishing this weekend, and he'll be like, whoa, didn't know he was that cool. You know what, that won't help you, because then he'll want to hang out with you more, because spear fishing sounds awesome. Don't say you're going rollerblading either. That'll just attract more friends. Perhaps just, I don't know. Dude, just make up stuff. That's what I'd do. If I didn't want to hang out with someone and I wanted to spare their feelings, I would just say I'm doing something else. And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, eventually you're going to have to tell him. Eventually he'll either get the idea that you don't want to hang out with him anymore and he'll stop asking you. Or if he's super, like, weird and just doesn't get social cues or doesn't get that he's being hated upon, then I guess just be like, hey man, I need some space. Don't want to hang out with you for 4 days a week. And if you can't respect that, then you're not a very good mate, are you? So that would be my advice, Corey, is simply just, for the first bit, I think you'll get the message if you just don't hang out with him as much. I mean, who's that stupid to be like, oh, Corey keeps going spearfishing every time I ask him to do something, but we don't live anywhere near the ocean. I believe him. Just make up unbelievable shit. I don't know. So yeah, that would be my advice. My serious advice would honestly be, man, that would be, firstly, there's nothing wrong with wanting your own alone time. I wouldn't want to hang out with a couple anyway. And the secondly is, just say, sorry man, about the work thing is, that you declined the job that he offered you. Just say you didn't want a job. That's not that, unbelievable either. Just say you got your own stuff going on. Cool. That's the end of the podcast, guys. Send in your source locations. We will get that. We'll get the Max Phillips initiative started this weekend. This week will just be more. I'll just open a Word document and start compiling, and then I guess I'll just put them all on a map. And I don't know what I'll do after that. But I reckon we need at least 10. I would say we need at least 10 free source bakery/businesses per state to have at least the start of a comprehensive list. So if people really, we need everyone's, if you're from Northern Territory, I don't know how many listeners I've got from there, but send it in. Perth, Adelaide, Brisbane. I mean, Adelaide, they're probably all still watching Moana on DVD from one of their Video Easy vending machines. But, when you finish doing that and you find a free source place, hit me up, luke.kidgell@gmail.com. That is the end of the podcast this week, guys. We'll be back again next week. The videos are weekly now as well. So tell your buddies about the podcast and the videos, and I'll speak to you next week.